Well, the Joe Biden vax mandate went down to absolute flaming defeat at the Supreme Court level, 6-3. 6 justices finding it was a complete relegation of congressional authority to nothingness to allow OSHA to do whatever it wanted to do with regard to vaccine mandates, that essentially they were exceeding the scope of their authority in unconstitutional fashion. And because that vax mandate went down, you're now starting to see major companies who are getting rid of their own vax mandates. Now, I do think that there is a right and a wrong here, right? We here at the Daily Wire, day one, we said that we would not be imposing a vax mandate on our people. Why? Because we actually followed the data. And what we saw is that people who wanted to get vaxxed were able to get vaxxed. And if you were vaxxed, you were now effectively safe as you could be from the virus, because the virus is now endemic. And so we said, if you don't want to get vaxxed, that is on you. And by the way, if you have natural immunity, the data are now showing that natural immunity is more durable than vax immunity by a pretty significant margin. So we're not going to force you to get vaxxed, particularly if you already have natural immunity. There are other companies that are out there who shall remain nameless, who have been pushing the vax mandate since November, October, and who continue to push it even after the federal government has gone down to flaming defeat here. One of those companies, however, that is not doing that is Starbucks. So yesterday, Starbucks announced that they would stop requiring its U.S. employees to be vaccinated against COVID-19 or submit to regular testing. Starbucks said that they would quit it. They weren't going to do this anymore. And the reason they're not going to do this anymore, of course, is because they're afraid of losing employees. They're afraid of losing workers. So they've decided to suspend their own worker vax and test mandate, according to the New York Times. Quote, the Supreme Court's ruling last week shutting down the Biden administration's effort to enlist large employers in its vaccination campaign, experts said, would trigger a new wave of uncertainty about how companies keep workers safe from COVID-19. The answer is they don't, because no one keeps anybody safe from COVID-19. All you can do is keep yourself safe from COVID-19 by getting a vaccination if you so choose. That's it. Now we're done. Starbucks, with 9,000 U.S. coffee shops and 200,000 workers, has become one of the first major retailers to backtrack on vax plans since the ruling. Starbucks told its employees in a memo on Tuesday they would no longer be required to be fully vaccinated or submit to weekly coronavirus testing. Just 2 weeks earlier, the company had detailed the requirement and set a deadline of February 9th. The Supreme Court decision did not prohibit companies from keeping their vaccine rules in place. Many will continue rolling out stringent COVID-19 safety protocols. Starbucks' move highlights how the court's ruling has put the responsibility for determining vax rules on employers. Companies face a patchwork of federal, state, and local laws, which range from vaccine mandates that are stricter than the feds to laws blocking companies from requiring workers to wear masks. Retailers and their advocates have been the most vocal critics of the federal government's vaccine rules, saying it would have exacerbated their struggle to hire or hold on to workers when millions of unemployed Americans remain on the sidelines in the job market. Some labor lawyers say they think other companies will follow Starbucks in relaxing or undoing their company mandates, which of course is exactly what they should do. Meanwhile, Carhartt has stuck with its COVID-19 vaccine mandate, and there is evident backlash. According to Joseph Davila, reporting for the Wall Street Journal, 1 week after apparel company Carhartt Inc. declared it was keeping its COVID-19 vaccine mandate in place, the company defended its plans despite growing pushback from customers and on social media. Some people said they would stop buying Carhartt products and said the company shouldn't be forcing its employees to choose between getting vaccinated and keeping their job. Other customers welcomed the company's mandate and thanked Carhartt for keeping their employees safe. The workwear apparel maker based in Dearborn, Michigan, said it decided to keep its own vax mandate to ensure workplace safety. Last week's ruling from the Supreme Court striking down the Biden administration's vax mandate didn't affect the company's own mandate. The spokeswoman said Carhartt fully understands and respects the varying opinions on this topic. We're aware some of our associates do not support this policy. However, we stand behind our decisions because we believe vaccines are necessary to protect our workforce. And so Carhartt is really feeling the heat. They're feeling the heat particularly because, again, the vast majority of people who shop at Carhartt are probably red state voters. Carhartt is known for making blue-collar workwear. In recent years, its heavy jackets and hats have become a favorite among actors and models as well. Prior to the announcement, the company was mentioned on average about 550 times a day on Twitter. After the letter from the leadership began circulating on social media, that number went up to 25,000 on Wednesday. More than 4,000 tweets used the hashtag boycott Carhartt and other related terms on Wednesday. And listen, I think that this is a good thing. All of these companies get to decide for themselves and then feel the blowback. General Electric changed its vax requirements in December after a federal court blocked the Biden administration's vaccine requirements for federal contractors. The company suspended its remaining vax or test mandate following the Supreme Court ruling, but Citigroup is keeping it. United Airlines has defended its own vax requirements, announced in August. They said recently that the mandate has likely saved the lives of about 8 to 10 employees. So what? Based on what? The airline had been reporting about one COVID-19 death a week among staffers prior to the mandate's implementation. So we'll see how many companies decide to allow their workers freedom and how many companies decide to continue along this path. And then we will get to respond as we see fit, obviously. I know what you're thinking. It's time to binge some more Ben Shapiro videos. Well, you are right. You should. But first, like and subscribe. Perfect. I'll see you in the next video.